Hey, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. I really wanted to make a short comment, if there is such a thing when it's me talking. I wanted to make a comment on the events of today, which have been, they've been harrowing, they've been terrifically emotional, they've been heartbreaking, because we've seen the other side of the terrible crime of rape, and I have long tried to point out that moviegoers are subjected to images of rape, which amounts to rape as entertainment, which it can hardly be, can it? But when you start to see different images and they're repeated and you see them a lot, in fact, in the case of a movie, you can actually watch a movie many times. Beth has a favourite movie which she loves to watch called Leap Year, and she loves that movie, and it's one that actually makes her feel good. So she often goes back and she'll watch that. She knows every word, every line, and enjoys it. So it's not just that you can do it with. You can do it with any movie. If you have a mind, you can do it with Death Wish, can't you? Where you watch the killing, retribution of any number of people who cross over after you've been manipulated on watching what happened to the hero's family. Now, we've been watching what happens after a member of a family who has been guilty of raping one of the young women in the family. And what has to happen after the person is caught is that it has to be made safe. The family must be made safe. So here's the difficulty when you're actually talking about catching someone. The police admit that it's a difficult crime to prosecute because there has to be evidence. Not so difficult in the case of a young kid, which we have been talking about, 14 and 15-year-old girls who have been raped, and they've been raped by a family member, and there are some very special circumstances where that family member is the only family member that takes care of a lot of children. And that's what we've been watching happen today. We've been standing on the sidelines. We've tried to help and to make it so that those kids are safe. But if there's one child that's being abused, but that adult is responsible for, say, 5 or 6 children, then if he is not put away in order to make the family safe, all of those children must be placed in a safe house, wherever that is, whether it's with another adult member of that family, or whether it's with a professional group. I mean, there are orphanages, there are safe houses, there are all kinds of different places that you can go, and they're making safe havens for kids, especially right at the moment. At the moment, the trafficking of children worldwide is worse than it's probably ever been, and is a problem for all of us to be considering. We've been watching that now. Well, when I touch on the fact that rape can be seen as entertainment, the reason I'm saying that is that it's presented as a negative thing, but nevertheless it's part of that hour and 40 minutes which is for pleasure. So you as the viewer are being presented with images which are so brutal and so offensive, and yet you're actually staying there to watch that. And a friend of mine, Carey, used to say, garbage in, garbage out. I'm sure that's a Christian saying, garbage in, garbage out. And if you watch that kind of thing coming in all the time, then you will be subject to those images. I remember once, a long time ago, I went to see, in my ignorance, I went to see a movie called Straw Dogs. Straw Dogs was a particularly brutal movie, which I kind of sat through numb. Had a brutal rape. It had the methodical, systematic murder of a lot of people who tried to get into this house. After that movie, I really didn't feel great for several days, and after several days I began to realize that it was because of what I'd been watching, and I resolved that I would not go to see movies like that again. So I actually try now, even now, you can be drawn into the negativity of these movies, and you have to fight that because it's pandering to a particular part of the psyche which is best left unnurtured, if there is such a word. But after Straw Dogs, I made up my mind I would never go to see another movie which was declared as being open, brutal, and all of those things. But I did watch part of a movie which was on, I think actually it was Provinciano, and this was maybe, it's been running a long time, and I did watch one area where two women are captured as part of this rebel group, and the one man takes one of the women as a sex slave, and whenever he wants, he rapes her. And that's part of that entertainment. But rape is not entertainment. And what we saw today was when the person who had done this, the adult who had done this rape, was taken, there were lots of children who didn't know anything about what had happened. But for 2 years he had been doing this very, very regularly. So several times a week he was going in and he was raping this poor girl who was sworn to secrecy. And this is what always happens. And for our girls that we had with us today, when we got home, I said, do you know why it happened for 2 years? This young girl suffered in silence for 2 years, repeatedly being raped. Why did she go for 2 years? And what I wanted them to realize was that it was held in by a secret. Well, how can you hold something like that secret? Well, it's very simple actually. You make a threat against the person and their loved ones which is so horrendous, they dare not, especially if they're young kids, they dare not speak. And that's what happened in this case. The girl that over a 2-year period had suffered this fate was told that he would burn the house down with her family inside. Wouldn't that be easy in wooden houses in the Philippines? In the middle of the night, set the house on fire. So it was a very real fear for her. And then there were some other details which made it impossible for her not to come forward and admit what had been happening. But when the family was being broken up and the adult was being taken away by the police, we were there, and all of the children are in hysterics. They don't understand what's happening. The family is breaking up in front of their eyes and they don't understand, and everybody's in tears, grief, emotion, lots of emotion, lots of crying, screaming, very, very upsetting. We've put a warning on the video saying that it is an extremely emotional video, so be warned. So we've been watching this today, and we have been horrified at how far-reaching one person's evil acts can go to spreading the upset and the heartache so far and wide. So many people affected by that person's misdeeds. It was a terrible lesson to learn. I'll end it off there. Thanks for watching. Sorry, it's not a feel-good episode, but when we got home and I spoke to our girls, Taliklik and Lorraine and Dada, and I said, what did you learn? And as I said, I hoped that they would learn that it was the secret. So their lesson from me was no secrets. If someone does something and it's wrong, you know it's wrong, tell. And tell us so we can help. Tell mothers and fathers so they can be helped. And they'll be protected. Like this person, these kids have been protected now. Thanks for watching.